What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, not going to be that talkative for all the time because it's going to be a lot of me working on this stream, and hopefully you guys are working along on whatever productive thing you're doing. I want to start off with a bit of introduction where I am right now. I might have said before, but I'll say again, I really want to make a career out of my YouTube stuff. I want to make, since I was a kid, a career out of my video editing skills and my videography stuff. And I still have not been able to successfully do that. It would be great if my channel was monetized sometime, but I have to work towards that. I have to make sure my stuff is good enough. And yeah, that's okay. I'm not like actively hoping, wishing, because I am aware that the right things will come at the right time if my stuff is good enough, But that being said, basically, yeah, I'm going to do about another 25-minute sprints where I am with about pretty much 2 projects on deck. One is TV fights. I'll talk about that as I'm working on it. What else did I want to say that was important? Yeah, I've had the goal. If my channel isn't monetized or I'm not seeing any success with my YouTube grinding on content by end of 2027. All right, I've given myself this goal since 2025. If I don't see any traction or monetization or success by end of 2025, then that's going to mean that I'm going to retire from making content, that I have to shift gears because I'll be 27 by end of 2027. So but by that age, if I don't have a real job, can't keep a real job, that's just pathetic at that point. So yeah, let's hope that from the next 18 months from now, the next 18 months is going to see a lot of fruitful stuff. So I was planning on June 20th, about next Friday or Saturday, watching some of my older content because I don't really do that much. I think this is a good time to kind of do that. I don't really rewatch my videos much in recent months, so I think watching some of them that I have queued up would be a good practice. But anyway, what else am I working on here on the stream is yeah, like I said probably before, a lot of TV fights. Some of it is done. I mean, one of the episodes I pretty much have my review for. I just still have to figure it out. So anyway, I called it this document. Very, very good. Yeah. So yeah, guys, just for the next 20-25 minutes or so, gonna just be kind of gathering my thoughts together as I work on this stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get right started into it.
Let's reset our timers and go for another 25 minutes.
25 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
Let's get after it.
So the first thing I'm looking at in this 25-minute sprint that I want to get done here is what I looked at in my last stream, is the upload schedule that I made back in December, where I got most of it done. And this is still a good schedule for ideas that I might want to execute around the fall winter time, when that might be the better sort of atmosphere for some of these ideas. And yeah, when it comes to just my vibe and sort of attitude this summer so far, 10, 11 days into the summer, it's like, yeah, sometimes I still have those recurring dreams about being in school, and it's the last day of school, and I'm like, what am I going to do the first day of summer? First thing that comes to mind, watch a couple episodes of iCarly. But like at today's day and age, like this is an old mentality, I've watched iCarly and shows like that too many times. So even though I thought that in my dream, I was like, maybe I'll watch a couple episodes of iCarly. I said before, and I still have the mentality, a show like iCarly, because I've seen it so many times, I have to not watch it for like at least 6 months. I have to not watch it most of the year for me to feel any impact or laugh at it, I think. So yeah, I'm not gonna try to watch any iCarly until like December. Same with Victorious, probably same with Sweet Life, probably same with Wizards. I was considering a little bit of that for TV fights. Anyway, let me just look at this document. Yeah, the other couple of days, not that productive, but some of the good thing that I did was go back and delete a lot of old notes and stuff that are no longer useful, that are just overwhelming to look at. If it's smart enough, good enough, then it'll come back to me. But yeah, a bunch of old notes from last year in 2023. Not much from 2024, because I guess I was working a little better in the right direction there. Anyway, I see History of the Time War. That feels like a fun video that I should make around August to November. Good idea right there. Man, how time is flying, man. I did the Amanda Show TV fights that I wanted. Yes, sir. And the Michael Jackson sort of history tour review. Yeah, it didn't turn out how I wanted it. I'm going to put that idea to rest for now. I wanted to find an 80s movie or a 90s movie that I enjoy watching that I would want to review. Only one I can think of is Run, Lola, Run. So I probably have to put that idea of a 90s movie review aside. It's like what you consider about a movie, I think, changes, you know? Like lately, for me, it's about how the world is introduced, seeing the through line in different shows and movies about what world they're trying to present to you. Oftentimes cynical, dark, psychedelic, or experimental, you know? Yeah. So hopefully I find an 80s, 90s movie that isn't, you know, what's the word? Childish, I guess. Stereotypical movie from that decades, because those are influential decades. Family Guy TV fights. I haven't been watching as much Family Guy this year. Yeah, I did my Thomas review. Tintin, yeah, that review has failed. So the Tintin and the Michael Jackson review that I wanted to do since December, they didn't turn out. I'm not going to try to focus on them, because even though those are probably good ideas, if they're not coming to me, then I'm not going to make myself suffer by thinking about those. So yeah, let me move on to this next document. Dude, I have so much in this TV fights document. It's almost like it's so much that you almost don't want to write it to a certain degree, but I can do this. I can do this. I'm just overwhelming myself a little. All right. Is this the old TV fights document that I already did? No, this is a pretty new TV fights document, isn't it? I'll keep this open. Oh, man, it's so disorganized right now, but in this stream, I know I can get organized here. Better Call Saul review. Sweet. So most likely, as of now, the next TV fights, episode 7, is going to in fact be Drake and Josh versus Better Call Saul. What a fight, right? Because those are the two I pretty much have the most material on right now, which would mean episode 8 of TV fights, which could get made a week later. Hopefully not a month later. It would be Modern Family versus Breaking Bad. That's gonna be fun. So it's great that I have all this organized. I was just thinking, man, it's so strange and kind of sucks. I was thinking about a lot of other shows and like not research, you know what I mean, like rewatching shows that I was really into, like IT Crowd. And it sucks when you can't really see them as reviewable. Workaholics, used to really love these shows, not really reviewable on my channel because they're kind of degenerate or something. But Wizards of Waverly Place is what I was watching earlier today, the other day too, and as well as Simpsons after about a year. Was really loving re-binge watching Simpsons and Wizards of Waverly Place back in the pandemic. So coming back to those, pretty fun, but I don't have much to say about them. I'll just end up kind of summarizing them, lightly talk about what I liked. Yeah, that's what kind of sucks. That's okay. That's okay. Just like I said with the Tintin and Michael Jackson history tour video, just because it didn't work out, just because I don't see it clearly for the past while, that's okay. Just shift your focus because there's tons of new ideas out there that will work out for me. I just have to align myself. Hmm. Yeah, I'm just reading the stuff that I wrote for TV Fights, next one, and a lot of the stuff, yes, I can remember it off the top of my head. It is some material that is usable. They do spark interesting questions that I had about the show. That is very satisfying. And yeah, I think I don't know if I said this overall. I'm a big fan of how Better Call Saul ended after watching it a couple times over the past couple months. I'm a big fan of the last few episodes. It's a great show. Season 1 and 2 are all right. Season 3 and 4 are pretty amazing, and season 5 and 6 of Better Call Saul I love. Gosh, this is a fun review of this Drake and Josh that I wrote. You know? And it's good that I'm looking at it because, like I said, I had a writing teacher with my screenplay idea. It was about an Egyptian garden club. And he was like, there's so much that you almost don't want to write the thing. And yeah, that's how I feel looking at this outline right now. But yeah, just condense and honing, you know. Meanwhile, Megan has a plan to blast air in the condition. Yeah. So the way I wrote this, a lot of this can come to me naturally on the fly when I am in front of the camera. I don't think I need to do necessarily more research into Better Call Saul. I could rewatch it, but I don't think it's gonna necessarily teach me that much to say. Then I just wrote down a bunch of iCarly episodes that I could potentially review, but I don't feel like rewatching any of these. I wrote down I Hire an Idiot. Let's go off the top of our head. I Hire an Idiot, you know, pretty funny how scenario Spencer hires a assistant that he can't afford that just kind of gets him. Then Carly and Sam decide to hire this incompetent guy, but he's very good looking. Freddie does the same, hires an assistant that's good looking but incompetent. Yeah, some things about it are funny, just a pretty flat and boring episode of what iCarly kind of evolved into by that point. IQ, Carly tries to impress the guy by trying to be smart. That's all I remember about that freaking episode. I Hurt Lubert. Yeah, kind of mean spirited. Lubert gets some comeuppance with a prank, and they have to try to take care of him. And Lubert falls for Freddie's mom. Cringe. But some things about her funny. I Pie used to really like this episode. Yeah, just an amazing pie, and the guy who made it passes away. Gosh, yeah. They have to find the recipe. Yeah, it's all right. I Make Sam Girlier. This is the one I just rewatched the other day. I had fun. It's a good one. Yeah, she's tired of people seeing her as a tough dude, and yeah, wants to seem more girly. And then she realizes. Then she realizes she's tired of being like a daffodil and would rather fight. Yeah, what else? I Fix a Pop Star. I like this one a lot, but people have already pointed out, you know, Britney Spears' route to that. Uh, uh, controversy. I believe in Bigfoot. I guess it's good for what it's going for. I rue the day. I like this one a lot. Neville tries to mess with them. Plain white tees, yeah. I promote Techfoot. iCarly saves TV. Yeah, great episodes, but also have stupid moments, cringy moments, but pretty decent morals, of the getting into the industry and finding yourself in what you do digitally. As Sam's mom, just rewatched it. Yeah, I don't care that much about it. It was almost a little bit more deep when you're a kid and you watch it. I Speed Date. Yeah, I don't care for this one either. I Want a World Record. I guess pretty fun, good for what it is. It's all right. Yeah, I think the closest, if I were to choose iCarly again for TV fights, I Heart Lubert. All of these are pretty interesting. Like I Heart Lubert is probably a little fun to talk about. I Make Sam Girlier. There's not as much as I thought there was to talk about. It's just Sam realizing that she'd rather not seem girly. That's pretty much it. What else? That's pretty much it. It's like a 1-minute summary for iCarly. Overall, yeah, it's good that I chose Drake and Josh and Modern Family and Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. 3 of those shows I already reviewed, but it's good to come back to for sure. All right, guys. Just staring at this outline here. It's pretty clear the next direction I should move in. So before that, let me just look a little bit here at my short film outlines whenever that is going to get made. And then when I do that, after I do that, then we will switch gears into kind of reacting to stuff. Sounds good. All right. Where are we? Folder. How do you go to folders in your docs? Or do you have to go to Drive? There we go. Let's see. This one. Yeah, all right. This TV Fights is definitely going to be pretty good. This TV Fights is going to be a good one. Breaking Bad versus fucking Drake and Josh. Are you fucking kidding me, Pratik? That is incredible. Maybe, but also, like I said, the other 2 shows, if I hone a Modern Family episode, I wrote down which Modern Family ones I could review. Let me get my thoughts together. I love this, what's it called? This outlet, this format of live stream, instead of keeping these thoughts to myself, going crazy or getting angry if something isn't working. This is way more easy and concise to get my thoughts more in order, for sure. All right, already I figured out the TV Fights, a basic way to push myself to do that. I'm going to do it by this red curtain over here. I'm not going to do it in my apartment where I usually do it because it is summer and it's been very hot and I have to turn my AC off whenever I film a video. There's a couple of videos where my AC is on, like the reacting to Billie Jean video, where you could hear the AC in the background. So I always make sure to turn off my AC, and I can't really do that in the summer. It gets way too hot. Yeah, so the cooler has to go on, and so can't really film there without the background noise. So I'm gonna film the next reviews in front of that thing. Should be good. I brought my light. All right, let me stretch a little before I go to the next thing. Very cool, very cool. Not bad, not bad. Can't believe I have about 4 documents for the next short film. Two of those are, one of those is just for dialogue and one of those is just for images or cinematography. inspiration. Okay, that's getting me a little bit like anxious, not anxious in a bad way, where it's like just stirring up all the potentials of the good directions I could be thinking in. So I'm gonna take a little stretch. How long has this sprint been? 8 minutes left of this writing sprint. Let me hit pause real quick. You know what my latest favorite song has been? Neon Guts, Lil Uzi. Remember when that came out in Love is Rage 2 when I was in 12th grade? Great album, but my favorite songs were like 444, 222, and like How to Talk and Feelings Mutual. Now I love Neon Guts again. What a fun song. What was that one line that I really like? Started way after, but I had it, yeah. Oh. Oh yeah, yesterday I was doing a little bit of a deep dive into like facts I didn't know about previous presidents. One of them started the 1812 war between Mexico and America. One of them, what kind of notes did I write? It's kind of funny. My understanding of politics. I don't discuss politics with idiots, but let me go get my phone and see what I wrote. All right, if anyone wants to correct correct me or sort of enhance my understanding of these things, go right ahead. Pretty fascinating. Where is it? Where is it? Come on, where are my president notes? What the fuck? Is this it? History creates a caricature of its villains. Yes, we see that in movies and media. Ugh, I wrote such boring stuff. Where's the good stuff? The system is just a distraction. Everyone knows that. Only boring old people just say that. I'm only. This is why now I'm questioning the sort of legitimacy of the sort of documentaries that YouTube presents, like with History Channel. It's just a bunch of old voices that say the same thing that would sound full of platitude, you know? God damn, these political notes are so boring. Are you fucking serious? I literally want to delete this document because it's so boring. I fucking don't care about politics anymore. Um, I had to have taken better notes on this. Come on, where is the good notes? Okay, yeah, here. This is notes I was taking on presidents like Obama, Woodrow Wilson, McKinley. Uh, they tried to integrate confidence, not fearing any change, take out any policies that aren't working, call out what money is being distributed and stuff. Try some experimental approaches to things in the government. Crisis making decisions are a call to their character. Um, they establish certain ideals from other parties or tragedies in real life as sort of emotional pawns. Um, they try to be a pillar of strength, like what's his name? I was about to say Teddy Roosevelt, but it's FDR, who did the fireside chats. implement policies that are non-hostile. Congress defies authority and can use statutory controls to block or modify executive branch decisions, regulations. Congress can block executive branch regulations like weapons, legal rights, activism. Oh, and this is a quote from Better Call Saul, which is about this Supreme Court case from 2003. It's about this turning point, about how out of court testimonies are not accepted because the only indicium of reliability sufficient enough to satisfy constitutional demands is the one the Constitution already prescribes: confrontation. So as far as I understand, that basically means the courtroom is the best place to give a sort of truthful testimony under oath in front of all these lawyers and stuff. And what a lawyer tries to do is to try to get you to answer questions in a yes or no phrased way. Did you or did you not do this, say this, believe this? In order to sort of poke logical inconsistencies, factual inconsistencies that, various reasons that lead to questioning the person's character and, yeah, swaying the decision a certain way. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess out of court statements would give the judge too much power to deem what is reliable. Being in court is more reliable, yeah. Doing right versus doing what's popular. Believe in working class. Give back to the community, offer solutions, basic stuff. Safety is a priority, balanced negotiations. The rest of this is so boring. From a spiritual perspective, all this political BS is a reflection of your own inner reality. Yeah, you could definitely argue your inner reality is way more important than the outside reality, for sure. It can be. Government shouldn't interfere in agricultural growth. So presidents like, forgot their name, Harrison or something, they would implement sort of rules that allowed farmers to not be taxed as much, make more money sufficiently. Ease up on government spending. Leadership quality. Railroad strike. Using federal troops. Fighting inflation for farmers, like I just said. 16th Amendment allowing for income tax. Secure the powers of the executive branch to regulate the economy. Federalists. Yeah, remember how Republicans were originally about stopping slavery? Then it became about which side was more profitable, so they switched it up, the stereotype. Yeah, just about reaffirming faith in the American dream, what the system is trying to repress, bringing light to issues by calling them out. Idealism and systemic failure equals a rupture in innovation versus a continued lie. You look past the commodified forms of activism and and they find ways to disrupt the cultural consciousness. What's it called? New Hampshire's state motto: "Live free or die." The elite keep people from their full rights. I realized caring about conspiracies, caring about like this sort of elite propagandized liberal progressive agenda is allegorically basically like a father or parent kid dynamic. That is what I realized, that it is allegorizing. All right, if I'm trying to make a story about believing a character like me that is all into a conspiracy, and is going crazy about it, has to convince the people around him. If I was writing that, that would allegorically be a representation of parenting. It would be how your parents are the elites. Your parents, they know all this stuff. They're kind of, adults are kind of mysterious when you're a kid. Your parents know all this stuff. They're the elites. They control you. They tell you what you can and can't do. Then you're over there trying to learn stuff for yourself, trying to develop your mindsets and skills towards what's gonna succeed for you. So yeah, that's kind of what the purpose of allegory serves. And yeah, then there's questioning the system, like people like Thomas Sowell, because it's inherently sort of flawed or whatever. All right, that's enough of a sort of dive into intellectualism in terms of politics, because yes, it is mostly just there to divide us. Yeah, anyway. Let's shift swiftly onwards. Also, it has now been about 21 hours since I have smoked weed. Feels pretty good. A little bit difficult, but a few of the mentalities is that's helping me. I can give myself the same feelings without it. I can give myself good feelings without it. I can remember and convince myself that it's not helpful. All the years that I've convinced myself that it's a helpful thing, I can daily convince myself it's actually not a helpful thing. I already forgot the first one that I said. I already just forgot the first one that I said. It's not helpful, and I can give myself the same feeling. The other one I had. Yeah, I can be free without it. It gets easier day by day without it, or at least I have to tell myself that. It gets easier without it, and there will be a sort of ripple effect, a ripple effect of good stuff. Because think about it, even yesterday when I was getting high, it was a strain called Magic Marker. It was good, it was fine, but it was only a gram. Made it last like 3-4 hours. And yeah, most of that time I was just, other than that political sort of uh, research that I was doing yesterday, I was mostly just kind of just walking around in my head, the usual stuff, listening to Billie Jean, dancing around, just the usual stuff. And it's like, that is really like a way of pausing time. And you don't need to do that. Like I said, this is a time where I'm trying to get things moving. I am trying to make things move. I am a director, all right? I have all these tabs open for the next short film idea. A little bit overwhelming, it really is. So before I do that, should I watch some YouTube? Yeah. I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break. Life is good, guys. See you in a second. All right, guys. God damn, this is empty. Man, all my weed and stuff is empty. That is okay. Let me go check one more thing. So yeah, some of my goals that was for the New Year's resolution that were kind of coming to fruition, such as learning coin tricks, card tricks, more of them, and reading more comics. I was reading a bit of Asterix and Betty and Veronica. There's good humor. There's very interesting page setups that are so cool and important to me sometimes. Other than that, yeah, the humor really varies. Asterix, I think, is generally pretty much considered funnier than Tintin. There is more jokes. There is more of a stronger sense of humor, but the sense of humor in Tintin is very, very much there. And I'm a little bit happy. I was just thinking about the Broken Ear and Castafury Emerald. I don't know why I think about Castafury Emerald so much over the years. I think it's just an all right story, but it has so many cool ideas like the innovative early TV. And it just has all the characters pretty much. But I wanted to watch those episodes of the Tintin animated series, and they're no longer free on YouTube. I guess they all got copyright. In a way, I'm glad that that is there. So that means next time, whenever those Tintins stories are available, it'll be a while. But that also means that'll give me time to read those stories instead, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Tintin book from upstairs, just to show you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave the timer running for this. 1 second. Alright, got some books here. I thought I had The Broken Ear somewhere, but couldn't find it. So, but before I talk about these, let me tell you a couple movies that I watched. I rewatched Pineapple Express. Such a stupid movie. That movie's kind of terrible. Other than some of the ways it's shot, yeah, this is why I don't really example of why I don't really find comedy movies very funny. I did say I like 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. I really liked buddy cop movies like Rush Hour and Lethal Weapon and probably a few others. But what's the next thing? I've been watching, I did say I was watching Sicario. I didn't finish that. I'm going to watch that tomorrow, Friday night. Other than that, movies suck, kind of. Oh, yeah, I was looking at old notes. Last movie that I loved, and I think this was 2018, 2019 when I watched this, Rosemary's Baby. Yes, that is pretty much my favorite horror film. Yes, I think it's better than The Shining, better than Hush. I'm going to write down that I should rewatch Rosemary's Baby, even though I do come back to the cinematography every several months or so, but not the whole thing. Great movie, phenomenal. Anything else that I can remember? Collateral is a great movie, but you guys probably already knew that. Training Day is a good movie. I like. Trying to think. Horrible Bosses was pretty funny that I remember. I'm talking about what was on that list of movies from those years. Yeah. Others kind of crappy. I like Grindhouse still, Tarantino and Rodriguez, and Machete and Machete Kills. Fun movies, I think. Yeah, I just wish I could find more movies that are good, man. It's kind of depressing, the state of it, isn't it? But yeah, I don't really feel much when I look at like this panel of his wall with the frames of his sort of enemies and his friends. These are amazing in the blue and white. That is amazing. It's always been amazing. I don't know what year they decided to implement that into the Tintin albums. Yeah. Very cool. Very immersive, you know. Destination Moon still very, very incredible. And yeah, I really hope sometime soon, maybe this year, maybe not this year, that I get into the vibe where I could review Tintin properly, as well as Michael Jackson History Tour properly. One thing about History Tour that I don't think I've heard people say, Beat It, that song. Not even what I don't even like Beat It as a song that much or a music video that much, even though I own the jacket. But the way it's performed here, you hear these sort of hums in the place of the synth. In the background of the part where he's singing, showing how funky, strong is your fight. There's this it's so amazing. It's so orchestral. I can't believe they didn't make decisions like that for other songs in earlier years. But that was just a subtle thing. I'm sure like songs like Billie Jean, they have those subtle sort of newer sort of background hums too in the later concerts. But for the bridge of, I think that's what you call it, of Beat It, you hear these background hums in the History Tour of the voices going, beat it, beat it, beat it. So amazing. Other than that, just bringing up small little fun, quirky facts like that, that would be the whole of my History Tour review video. So that's probably why it isn't coming out the way I want to. What a world, what a world. Low-key, Land of Black Gold is probably the first off the top of my head that I can think of that is the most adaptable and relevant to today's day and age. Everyone is seeing what is happening to gas prices, what is happening with Iran. And if you go anywhere near that sort of interference. It's considered interference if you try to go by that C place or whatever. And it's all dictated into like what, $93 for a gallon of barrel of oil or something. Yeah, I think Land of Black Gold would be the most relevant to reinterpret, reimagine as a film. Let's check out some asterisks. These stories are just, these comments are just packed with dialogue, packed with scenes, detail. Oh, a lot. That's a lot. Oh. Whew. Okay, it's time to look at my short film documents one at a time and see what ideas spark there. Let's play the timer. We've got 5 minutes on this sprint, then one more 25-minute sprint, and then 3 more 25-minute sprints after that. So let's spend it wisely. Short film, the next one, which is, like I said, tentative title is 11th grade. What is the main theme of this short film, the thematic narrative? Delayed reactions, all right? The delayed reaction of the early scene when my mom tells me that my kindergarten project was crap, how that sort of spirals the story based on real events. Yeah, still no real ending in mind. I'm sure that'll come naturally as I film. Inspired by the SpongeBob jellyfish a little bit, with how Mr. Krabs tries to commodify them. Maybe I want to wear red on camera to highlight some of my character aesthetics. The genre would be dark comedy, a little bit of dance trap, a little bit of subculture, slapstick, a little bit ethereal, and possibly a little bit animation. And is animation a bit too much for all those other genres? Alrighty. Next document about this. Scenes that I can film. All right. I had this one idea yesterday or the day before that would be a black and white scene. It's not that interesting on the surface. I figure out how to make it more interesting. Me stepping on a Thomas train, it's like stepping on a Lego. It would probably hurt a lot. I probably want to do it for real, you know, and show real pain. All right. It'd probably be beneficial if these image ideas for images or cinematography or film look moments, if I sort of draw it out on a storyboard. I should do that today. Yeah. Trying to build a sort of sonic dreamscape, sonic landscape. Going to the library to film the scene of me and the tutor. I have one line for that, and it might only need to be like 1-2 lines, you know? As long as I understand the premise of the story clearly, the details of the dialogue really flow naturally, you know? Act 2 is gonna have a vibe of trying to be a bit impressive, trying because it's sort of playing to the tune, the sort of idea philosophy that everyone tries too hard. Act 2 is gonna have that sort of try hard feel, maybe. These ideas are all right, you know. They need work, but they'll be developed. I love the way I wrote these director's notes for myself. I'm not going to say them out loud because I'm sure I said it before in previous live streams, but you'll see it for yourself when it gets made. Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Why don't they just let me live? I don't need permission to make my own decision. My prerogative. Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Don't just let me live. I don't need permission to make my own decision. They say I'm crazy. Really don't care. That's my prerogative.
Okay, that sprint flew by. I was like, what is that? The time already? Anyway, okay. I'm gonna check how it went. And we're gonna take a quick break here for 5 minutes and answer some more questions and then get into the next sprint. So
I feel like I just realized that I want the story to end. The end arc of my character, of the end of this short film, is that he gains a level of professionalism that isn't perfectionism and is now trying hard in the right direction. But I have to be specific. What does he specifically learn? Does he learn that he needs to make videos this type of way, or he needs to delete these types of memes, or rebuke and like renounce these types of edits, these types of memes, something like that? That's kind of solid right there for a first idea. Renounce certain types of memes. That's pretty strong, because one of the big things about criticism, if you were like me and you struggle with validation criticism on a daily basis, if you were a content creator at one point, one of the things that you should realize about criticism is that perfectionism isn't real, firstly, and also like big thing that I realized, the people that criticize you, they probably have really shitty taste. All right, the people that criticize you, they're probably addicted to porn. They probably like all sorts of retarded, degenerative shit, man. At least you're out there trying to make good content. Don't let these filthy degenerates with their stupid fucking dumbass opinions inform your hard work. All right, they probably have really retarded, terrible taste. That is something I really need to always remind myself if I ever even think about caring about criticism.
Nanda, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey Abby, any tips on how to prepare ourselves and our work in progress for your virtual writing retreat in July? I really want to be intentional with my story this time. The anxiety gets me all scatterbrained. Yes, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. It's definitely difficult to like mentally prepare yourself, even if you prepared yourself like with your outline and your character profiles and like all of the actual stuff that you may need. It can still be like a little overwhelming, and you can feel like scattered going into it. But I would say, and I want to make some videos actually like leading up to July to help you guys, but I want to say like using
follow
the
the rules sort of
just like
theme.
giving yourself enough confidence to start walking up that staircase, to start on your work in progress, and then just like building a routine that's going to make writing feel like a self-indulgent escape from reality. Okay, so you like want the writing practice each day to feel like this is something I get to do. Like it's candy. It's like it's the most enjoyable part of my day.
Come on,
now. Right? So like whatever you have to do to frame it as that, I think this goes overlooked a lot of times. It's like maybe frivolous or like not part of the planning process or the preparation process, but it is. It's so valid. It's like just as valid as like building an outline for your story, because you want to create that like bulletproof routine, right? So I'm going to be making some videos on this, so stay tuned for that. But that would be my primary advice. So like figuring out what time of day you like to write, what things can you set up around you, whether those are boundaries or they are like visual triggers that get you inspired to write. Let's see, another super chat came in from Sherman B. Mason. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yo, Abby, do you have any recommendations for day jobs or writing jobs that boost creativity while we're waiting to get into the writing industry? That's a really good question. Honestly, there are so many different jobs.
All right, yo, I just thought of something. So one of the random sort of ideas was fucking sorry. I wanted there to be another random sort of commercial in the 2017 11th grade short film. First thing that comes to mind is Thomas Train, Thomas Toy. That would be a fun commercial to parody and try to think of a reason that makes it sort of something that's fucking someone my age would buy. It's only $4, $5. Relive your childhood. What is the angle for that? That's kind of funny to think about. But why am I clinging to this right now? It doesn't necessarily need to fit into the story, as long as it's a scene that would make sense for me, my character, to do. Like each of these sort of short films I've made this year, since Biryanovich, since before then with Low Profile, they aren't really sequels of each other, but they kind of exist in the same continuity, pretty much, almost, right? Anyway, like a Pratik Cinematic Universe. There's probably a better name for that. For Cinematic Universe. That was easy. Anyway. Oh yeah, the commercial. This would be midpoint reactionary or a game-changing midpoint. I got this. Game-changing midpoint. Midpoint reactionary. I've got it. I just honed in the inciting incident, which is my mom telling me my work sucks. Then the game-changing midpoint, which is my tutor/teacher telling me that my work is going to go places. And then the midpoint reactionary hero is how I react to sort of accidentally stepping on a Thomas toy. That is pretty solid work for right now. That is pretty good, pretty damn good work right now. This is gonna turn into something. What if it turns into multiple different commercials, like a commercial for cat food, a commercial for a TV intro, a commercial for one of these books, commercial for Thomas? Just brainstorming here right now because of all the other things that have inspired me for this that I aren't going to be directly influenced, but you do see the influence for in my general work, like the influence of Drake and Josh or Better Call Saul, Peter Gould, Breaking Bad, Hank, Jesse, Walt, all that, Tintin, Asterix, Disney Channel games, Patrick Troughton, Second Doctor, all those storytelling components that just casually already influence me. Very, very productive here. I have one more document to look through. Then we're gonna switch gears a little bit after that. Let me see how long this going through
Getting
this
missed
takes.
out on reaching a lot of your readers because they just never hone that skill. So that's a good thing to get a head start on. Let's see. Question from RW. I want to write them, and I'm in a very interesting scene, but I'm lazy. I have my tea and I have my aesthetic and ambience that doesn't distract me, but I can't bring myself to write. Any tips? Honestly, what this sounds like to me is just like your brain is stopping you. Like you're intimidating yourself. Stop intimidating yourself. You have everything you need. And I would say just like write ugly, even if it doesn't come out the way you want. That's what I tell myself whenever I'm stuck and I'm like, everything's like set up, everything's right.
Rip
Like,
Van
like,
Winkle
like,
influence.
you actually
That's one of
can.
my favorite
You actually can, because, like, if
childhood
you were
nursery
forced
rhymes.
to write, you could write. It just maybe wouldn't come out as great as you wanted to. So like, what if you just had fun with it? Like, what would you write if you just didn't have to write it perfectly? What if you could just take the pressure off to like not write perfectly right now and to let it come out ugly or messy or not exactly how you envisioned it? Because you can always go back and change it. You can fix it. And sometimes writing through like that initial like hesitation actually helps you to like warm up. Okay, and you can even see it as a warm up. You could like write something else as a warm up. Just to write, just like get that action happening, you know? Right, it's funny because writing is like the one thing that we don't warm up for. It's the one art form that we like don't warm up for. When you think about a musician, they warm up before they play on stage.
That's a very good point, because the scene that is becoming clear that I don't exactly know how to articulate is that inciting Act 1 scene where I finish a project, I'm in kindergarten. Do I do this by just showing a picture of myself from kindergarten with that project? Or do I do this by acting? Where do I do it? First thing that comes to mind is in my car, but that doesn't make any sense. Where do I do this? In my basement? In my room? Downstairs? Probably the front of the living room where the door is. Then acting like my mom. Like, huh, what a stupid project. Yeah. Simple. It can be done in 2 shots. 3, because it needs my reaction. Yeah, guys. So that is pretty much the end of the nice one little writing sprint there. And so before we end this live stream, what we are going to do is react to a bit of me. I do like me. I like myself sometimes. All right. And then after this, probably rewatch some season 5 of Better Call Saul, probably episode 7 where he goes, is it episode 7 or 8 where he goes out into the desert to collect Lalo's money with Mike? Probably watch some of that after this. Anyway. Let's check out some of my stuff. Here we go. All right. Let's watch some of this one. That'll probably make me laugh first. And then as you can see, I have just like how many videos is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos queued up here. They're pretty short, except for these last 2 are about 20 minutes together. Yeah, let's see how my content has evolved. Let's see if there's any good learning lessons I can take after watching me. All right. Let's watch some YouTube whispers
What's up,
first.
guys, and welcome to That's What He Said. It's pretty much YouTube whispers, which you've seen on some other channels. Basically, I'm going to
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
On,
KSI and Shauna.
Someone else who puts on headphones.
Panda and
the whole way along the
Bamboo.
line, and then the last person that...
Even like that.
That's it.
KSI gave Sugar a black dildo.
How did you get that?
How, what do you mean?
Oh man. Okay, let's move to my stuff. Video that I made last year. You can see how my work kind of suffered when I was just having bad habits, drinking too much and stuff. And just how my work had suffered last year and how far I've come a year later. Let's take some time. Can't believe this was last year, a year ago. I feel so much healthier than I did. This intro has no sound. It's a clip of Wheezy Waiter.
I was determined to decide to make a new video, then my camera battery was empty.
Well, I never thought that it'd be so simple. I found a way, and I always thought that it'd be too crazy. I found a way.
Just my favorite moments, you know.
And you open up your mind and see what's inside. It's gonna take some time to realize. Ooh, whoa. But if you look inside, I'm sure you'll find. Ooh, whoa. Over your shoulder, you know that I told you I'll always be picking you up when you're down.
It's what's on the inside that
Turn
counts.
around,
How's it going? It's 1:45. I filmed some footage a few hours ago, just some nice footage of nature. I can really play with the range of tones when I edit. I'm procrastinating on editing because I want to wait for the right time. But
Speaking of the sort of general thing that I just said there, I was just watching I watched like 10 minutes of Euphoria season 3. It's supposed to kind of suck. Yeah, what were they thinking with the color grading? Does anyone else agree? I would have chosen like a much lighter, sort of brighter sort of tint, if not something more vibrant, saturated. They went for like the sort of darker, a little bit grungy sort of look. It doesn't feel realistic. It feels like just a, what's it called, a noir filter almost. That's what Euphoria season 3 felt like from the 10 minutes that I watched of it. But yeah, I'm doing way healthier than I was here. I think this tree got removed since then.
I just gotta jump into the process. This is how you get your spark back.
Is this 30 frames a second or 24 frames a second?
Gotta jump into the process. This is how you get your spark back.
An infinite number of mathematicians walk into a bar.
You can see the ways in which, because of my habits like drinking too much, how my kind of natural storytelling abilities kind of suffer a little. This is my attempt at my best at trying to make something that's 3 acts, you know. This sort of opening beginning with the Drake and Josh theme with these footage of YouTubers, my favorite YouTubers, was kind of healing to rewatch. And then just this random couple of scenes, me talking, my dad talking, that just serves as a simple act 2. And then this random montage, pets, trees, footage, that's your simple act 3. So you can see how something like drinking too much, working hard in the wrong direction, holding on to negative previous stuff, how that is going to make some of your art suffer a little bit. But in terms of what I just did in this stream, what did I learn to move in the right direction? Some of the ideas, like the fake commercial I want to implement in my next video, how that relates to the game-changing midpoint as a midpoint reactionary, because maybe he makes and tries to make the commercial and he steps on an action figure and it really, really hurts. That's a story. That's his reaction. That's part of the overarching story of a guy who is hyped about making something, experiences disappointment, and then learns a little bit to move forward in the right direction. He's changed as a result of that by kind of getting what he wants, learning what he needed to learn.
Nine a.m. Good job nourishing your goal this morning.
Oh yeah. 1 year ago, huh? June 11th. Exactly a year ago. Damn.
It can be really difficult not to give up on your goals sometimes. You just gotta keep reframing and redirecting and stop overgeneralizing and change the channels. Also making sure not to let anything ruin your spark. Listen, Pratik, I think this segment is cancelled. You keep trying to learn from the shadows, but look at how the patterns have been affecting you. I was washing my hands with nail polish because my cat took his fish to the beach arcade museum after class because his burger didn't have any Wi-Fi. Pratik, that was a horrible performance.
See, something like a fun non sequitur sort of idea like that you randomly think of. Like just this morning, I was like, oh man, I'm so high, I accidentally put the toothpaste in the fridge. Fun things like that. Like I said, I haven't smoked in 21 hours, but yeah, fun non sequitur like that is meaningful, is funny. I think if you have more people, if there's more going on around the scene. But yeah, that's the type of line I want to deliver. Don't I look so much healthier a year later? I'm just so grateful that there were things around me that helped me quit drinking.
Why aren't you motivated to do push-ups right now? What, your imaginary friends don't care? Drop and do 25. It's like slowly but surely, I'm definitely getting my spark back. How's it going? For the past couple of weeks, I've really been doubling down on my creative momentum when it comes to goals with writing, camera work, videography, editing, and script writing. And I must say, I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made. It's also about feeding the audience, like turning a drawing into a magic dance painting.
Yeah, you see how this is just a video, just kind of me saying out loud all the things I hold valuable, like nourishing your spark.
You just gotta keep reframing and redirecting.
All these therapy values like reframing. Yeah, good job, Pratik. You will get there. Just sober up more. You know? You're there now. Good job, boy. This next one. This was made in June 24th. Why is the shot so blurry?
I didn't draw this for anyone in particular, but I drew this picture of you. I hope you like it.
I was really struggling to make content at this point. I was really struggling to think of something. Prime example of how you're working.
Hey bro, did you hear that new song?
yeah, just don't ruin it by turning it slow and reverbed, please.
First time smoking a joint in a few weeks. That's absolutely fun. It's definitely a better song to watch while being performed. That's absolutely fun. It's definitely a better song to watch while being performed.
Yeah, even when I'm fat as shit. Look how fucking fat as shit this guy is. Even when I'm like that, I still try to dance, man. But yeah, this shot is really cool. It's so good I could even reuse it for the next one, and it would be meaningful because it's like a year ago, like I said, when I'm struggling to make content, anything usable.
It's definitely a better song to watch while being performed. The musical part of the intro to Black or White rocks, but some of it is kind of unnecessary, like the dialogue.
This is what I love about making content. You can make life look meditative, and it can be meditative. It can be healing.
There's so much room for improvement.
I said there's so much room for improvement.
Wow, I really like that creative decision about the close-up. Really conveys new things to the viewers, like a break from reality.
What do you think is more important in a scene, the characters or the environment?
I would have to say the characters, because
I was about to say the exact same thing, I'm sure.
that's where the conflict and the sort of juicy crux of the good stuff gets revealed.
But also the setting, the environment can become the crux of the change for the character's motivation. So that's what we talk about when we review something. When I reviewed something like A Sweet Life on Deck, how the ship things kind of change, not consistently. The character Drake and Josh kind of doesn't change depending on what he's doing. Characters are like that. What is another example of characters that don't change? I forget. I'll think about it.
What do I do in the moments I feel like giving up on making content? I don't know, I kind of remember the change that my character goes through in my previous videos. I've been really trying to do my best not to let negativity affect my personality. We should create a new acronym to help with the downfalls of getting too high. We should call it PUSH. Please introduce yourself. Unpacking Sad Happiness.
Quite a thesis kind of embedded in that video there. Simple video with kind of a lot to say there. And you can see how the message was kind of suffering because of my own vice of pretty much drinking. I do still kind of smoke like that, but drinking I think was a real detriment. And there's probably therapists out there that'll be like, yeah, your drinking habit was okay, it was really your weed habit. No, knowing me, I'm pretty sure it was the drinking habit that made me look like that, struggle with all that stuff of not making content. All right, this one is called Purpose. We're going back to 2024, 2 years ago now. This was from my Vegas Cali trip with my cousins. Fun, nice little time there. Let's get it. This is a fun, good montage.
Bringing a message to my mind. A silver hotel.
Yeah. Sure. Damn, dude. You look alright. The editing is alright here. Me and my old. See, this is where I don't realize that
a shade up and not a whole stop. Tip a shade up and not a whole stop. Tip a shade up and not a whole stop. Tip a shade up and not a whole.
Action.
As she stalked the room, I could feel the aura of her presence. Every head feeling passion. Just take your time and gotta be cool. Yeah, it's on my mind. They just know it. Yeah, fast pace all the time. Yeah, I can't so much. Yeah, dance, bellow.
That was such a random montage. This one is called Tonal Range. When did I make this? July? Yeah. That was all right. You just get
Hi,
back
welcome to-
making montages. All right, now we move on to the good stuff, yo. This would be August, I believe. August 20th. Good time when I was struggling. I made like, 4 or 5 videos around this time, including this Doctor Who cliffhanger thing. And yeah, this was a month where I went 29 days without drinking. And the things that I was struggling with, I just really wanted to force myself to make the content I wanted to. And even though this was only a 3-minute review, damn, that's what I wanted. Is the connection on this live still there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't watched this in a minute. It's only 3 minutes, so I don't think it can be very good. But knowing the context of me struggling at this point a lot, but some success without alcohol. Let's see. Fresh eyes, pretty much. I take on Dingo versus Josh loves Mindy loves Josh.
The TV fights. Today, we're going to be looking at the Drake and Josh episode Mindy Loves Josh versus the iCarly episode I Take on Dingo. Let's start with the latter. The previous episode, I Reunite with Missy, I always found cringe even back when it aired. But I did watch it recently because I found out that it had a cameo from Josh Peck. He was wearing a blonde wig at the Groovy Smoothie. Absolutely hilarious. Sam approaches Freddie and Gibby with a hilarious idea of bikini dog food fights. They then find out from a couple classmates that the writers from the show Totally Terry are stealing some of their recurring iCarly bits. This is from the Dingo Channel, which is a parallel parody of the Disney Channel, making fun of how adults look like buffoons, and also playing on the idea of cryogenically freezing Walt Disney. It's nice to see the main cast all trying to band together to stand up to these writers by driving down to Hollywood, as well as making fun of it. And it's really funny how bikini dog food fights comes back full circle. This season of iCarly definitely has a more cynical worldview. I'm not sure whether I like this season or the first season better. The next few episodes after this one, I Must Have Locker 239, I Twins, I Fight Shelby Marks, all iconic. Some of my other favorite episodes are I Dream of Dancing and I Fix a Pop Star, but this I Take on Dingo is definitely also one of the top favorites. Now let's talk about Mindy Loves Josh. Something about the karma of this episode really reminds me of Eric Punches Drake, where Eric is pretty much getting popular off.
I know I wasn't drinking, but I just have that kind of aura, don't I? Because I was drinking like 10 to 20 beers a week that year, earlier for, god damn, a lot of that year. So it's like if I was drinking, my eyes would be more cross-eyed, dead and stuff. But I definitely was not drinking for 29 days this month. Sobering up.
Drake's expense, but Drake kind of deserves it in a way for how he takes advantage of people like Craig and Eric, and even how he mistreats people like Clayton in the same scene where a group of other people are making fun of him. It just feels like the good amount of karma that he deserves, similar to the episode Josh has done, which was really nice to see Josh kind of doing good for himself. And the way they patched things up in that episode felt pretty iconic as well. The whole subplot with Megan giving Drake fake dermatomaculitis because he stole her cookie is absolutely hilarious. And while other episodes in the season did have...
So even 9 months later, almost a year later, I would deliver a line like that with more energy. That's the type of reviewer I am. It's not fake. It's just being more into myself. The whole point I'm reviewing all this stuff is because I enjoy these episodes. I haven't really talked about episodes I dislike, which I probably should do at some point. But I would say that with more energy, what I just said. The absolutely hilarious.
Cookie is absolutely hilarious.
The dermatomaculitis.
Fake dermatomaculitis because he stole her cookie is absolutely hilarious. And while other episodes in the season did have more slapstick, more outlandish humor, I love the way this one maturely handles relationships and breakups. Like how Mindy and Josh kind of both realized they might...
See what I mean when I said the AC in the background? That's me trying to do my best in the editing to make it less noisy.
Might not know what love is, and then they might need some time apart, and then they patch things up in the season finale, Really Big Shrimp, which is definitely one of the best series finales of all time. I thought it was very maturely handled for its target audience of kids. I was 5 years old when this season was airing, and I still remember watching it as it aired. Season 4 is definitely the best season of Drake and Josh. All the seasons are pretty damn good, but the show just kept getting funnier and better over the seasons. So,
just as a perfectionist, it looks like there's like a little bit of a stain on the chair. It's such a good thing that I stand up for the other TV fights. That's okay. It's a good video. It's surprisingly a good review for a 3-minute review. I'm not going to delete it just because of one stain. Even though as a perfectionist, that almost eats me alive. I'm going to support myself. I don't care. I'm going to drop a like for myself.
Which episode do I like better? Both are very strong episodes for each individual show. Both are quite timeless in what they're going for, still very much holds up. It's almost a tie, but even though Mindy Loves Josh is just a little bit melodramatic, I really like the way it handled its themes. So Drake and Josh wins for this video. Thank you guys for watching this episode of TV Fights. See you in the next one.
Yeah, bro.
Top 5.
God damn, bro. Alright, you're growing since then, man. Just getting better and better. I've been seeing a couple of different review YouTubers around my age, around older. They just kind of just have the same sort of vibe as when they started, the same sort of derpy, nerdy vibe. I'm sure that's fine for them. That's the vibe that helps them make friends, helps them get through the world. I don't know. And to me, it's not really about changing necessarily. I think it's more about growing into yourself. Like, I would say some of these things, like I said, with more energy 9 months later because of the passion I have for some of these episodes and the legacy. Yeah, just me. But yeah, we'll watch. I don't think we'll watch all of this, but this is I wanted to watch because another video I made around that time.
My favorite classic Doctor Who cliffhangers. This list is very subjective. Let me know your favorite classic cliffhangers in the comments.
I'm gonna say Spearhead.
At number 5, we have The Web Planet.
Oh yeah.
Now, The Web Planet isn't a great episode. It's not one that I typically run to go rewatch. However, it does have some solid cliffhangers. For example, the cliffhanger where the Doctor gets trapped in a tube and that looming voiceover goes, "Why have you come here?" Great suspenseful cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger where the Doctor and Vicky get trapped in a web, another great cliffhanger from The Web Planet. But my pick is actually from episode 1.
Those awkward pauses and jump cuts.
Where the TARDIS goes missing and the Doctor's like, my ship is missing. But nothing else needs to be said. That was an amazing cliffhanger. Always stood out to me when I first watched it. I kind of feel the same way about the episode Time Meddler. I've seen that a number of times. I don't think it's necessarily a great episode. It's been a good sleeping pill over the years. Coming in at number 4, some people might think I'm joking with this choice, but I genuinely find this to be the cliffhanger that I think about the most. It is Dragonfire episode 1. Dragonfire always gets clumped in with the bad episodes of Doctor Who. Maybe it's because it's season 24. I've genuinely always enjoyed Dragonfire. I don't know if I would call it underrated, but the way it builds tension, what it does with the Ace character, that alien whose brain pops out, that whole prophecy, I think it's done pretty entertainingly. It also has some really memorable and nice looking settings. So that cliffhanger in episode 1 where the Doctor is dangling from a cliff with his question mark umbrella, that shit still sticks out in your head. I don't care if people think that it was just as cheesy as the rest of this era. I think it was very well done. At number 3, this was kind of an obvious pick. We have the Deadly Assassins.
Deadly Assassins.
Deadly Assassins used to be one of my top 10 favorite Doctor Who stories ever, back like 10 years ago. Then in recent years, I realized that I prefer other Tom Baker stories, like City of Death, Pirate Planet, State of Decay, Horror of Fangrock, even Terror of the Zygons, I think I prefer over Deadly Assassins.
Very interesting. Are there any other Tom Baker stories that I prefer over Deadly Assassins? Let's cross-examine that. 4th Doctor stories. Because Deadly Assassins is great, deserves its legacy. Not one of my favorites anymore. Because it gets a little old after rewatch, but the directing, especially episodes 1 to 3, probably especially episode 3, Deadly Assassin deserves its legacy. But let me see all the 4th Doctor episodes. I don't think I like Creature from the Pit better than Deadly Assassin, but it's kind of equally as entertaining to watch. Of course, I love the Pirate. Did I say Pirate Planet? Of course, I love the Pirate Planet more. Kinda, I like Androids of Tara a lot. I like Androids of Tara pretty much equally to Deadly Assassins, I would say. Sunmakers, when I first watched it, it's about equal. I think I like Deadly Assassins more than the Sunmakers, honestly. Oh, Invasion of Time is fun, but Deadly Assassins does it better. Yes, it does. I like Stones of Blood, I said before. I like Towns of Wang Chiang. I do like Wang Chiang better than Deadly Assassin. I do like Deadly Assassin better than Robots of Death. Yes, I do. Face of Evil is a good one. Probably equal to Deadly Assassin. Yeah, that's about it.
That being said, it's still undeniably such a great episode. The way the tension unfolds and the way it depicted Gallifrey was...
Talking about Doctor Who is much easier than talking about other shows. It really is.
Absolutely stunning and perfect. Some might say that The Deadly Assassins is the only good Gallifrey story. I might have to agree with that. I mean, I love Invasion of Time. It's a fun story to watch. But if you're making the argument that Invasion of Time kind of demystified Gallifrey, I kind of have to agree. Even though I loved seeing the outside shots of the Citadel with the other Gallifreyans, I like the way it built on different Gallifreyan myths and technologies, and seeing the other Time Lords interact with the Doctor. I think it does some things pretty well. But I'm going on a tangent. By the time we get to episode 2 of Deadly Assassin, we get all this very interesting tension building. The Doctor enters the Matrix, and it's a fight for him to try to stay alive. Then his foot gets trapped in a railroad, and a train is coming to kill him. What an incredible, outstanding cliffhanger, undoubtedly. And at number 2, this was another pretty obvious pick for me. Spearhead from Space, episode 3. Spearhead from Space is one of my favorites, if not my favorite classic.
I like what I said about tension building.
Doctor Who story. It balances everything so well. I love the way that the Autons, the Nestine consciousness, feel like a looming, threatening presence. And the way the story builds up by episode 3. General Scobie's facsimile enters his door, and that eerie technophonic music, and that eerie music starts to play in the background, and the Auton is about to kill him. Nothing more needs to be said. What a terrifically satisfying cliffhanger. And my pick for the best cliffhanger is Ghostlight, episode 2. So I don't know if I'd necessarily call Ghostlight underrated, just like Dragonfire. However, I did watch it again recently, and it just reinforced everything I love about classic Doctor Who. The atmospheres, the setting, the weird characters. This is a story which plot is very hard to put your finger on, but I just love everything about this story. It might have to make my top 10 favorites of classic Who. By the time we get to episode 2, and it's time to reveal Light, and he enters through those doors, oh, it's such great ambience and suspense. Nothing more needs to be said. Alright guys, that does it for my top 5 favorite classic Who cliffhangers. Let me know your top 5. See you in the next video.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Alrighty. Now we're gonna watch. I don't really rewatch my videos like I said that much. So I'm gonna watch 1 Doctor Who fights and 1 TV fights. Hopefully that springboards me into the right direction. I'm gonna take a little break, short little break, before we jump right in. And this has been my channel trailer, hasn't it, for the longest time. I'm gonna have to change my channel trailer probably to something new, probably different TV fights. So yeah, give me 1 second. Give me another 1 minute before I start watching again, guys. But yeah, like seriously, rewatching that, I'm glad I didn't choose a lot of other videos, all of my other videos. Only chose like 3 or 4 of my videos. Rewatching that was productive. It kind of reminded me of the things that I needed to say, like tension building, you know, the vibe, like all the things that I want to talk about. It's there. Love it, love it, love it. This is absolutely what's going to push me in the right direction for TV fights 7 and 8, and Doctor Who fights 7 and 8. So can't wait. Let's watch the other ones that I made. 1 second, 1 second. All right, there's a fly on the computer. I don't know if I want to kill it necessarily. Yeah, let's leave that fly. Fuck it. Okay. Please enlighten me, Pratik. Enlighten yourself. From 3 months ago, does that say? Must be longer than that. 5 months ago. Alrighty, Pratik. And you know what? First, let me just change my channel trailer. I don't want it to be this one. Sorry, changing my channel trailer real time. How do you change your channel trailer? Home tab, channel trailer for people who haven't subscribed, change video. Which one should I choose? Should I choose a live stream? Maybe. I'm gonna do a TV fight. I'm gonna do TV fights Breaking Bad versus Full House. I feel like that one deserves some views. Yes. I'm gonna put my playlists of TV fights and Doctor Who fights. That looks like a good layout. Bet. Oh, yo, how come the playlist tab did not work? Sorry, guys. Let me figure out why I added the playlist tab to show on the home page, and I don't see it. Maybe because I'm already subscribed to my... I can't subscribe to myself. Yeah, even on this, the playlist tab is not showing. What happened? Let me try one more time, guys. Sorry about that. Fix this. Home tab. It's here. Don't see why it's not showing. That's okay. People will find my content when they do. I really want the playlist tab to show up when I open my channel. It says it is, but I don't see it on my phone or on the thing, on this computer. It's okay. Figure it out. It's okay. We'll figure it out sometime. All right, without further ado. So jump right in.
To Doctor Who fights. You read the title? Let's jump right into Deep Breath.
Yeah.
Series 8 began airing in August 2014, or as I remember it, the week before I started high school.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the Doctor interacting with the Paternoster friends after regenerating. Apparently, he is fleeing from this giant dinosaur, and looks like he got a haircut right after regenerating. The post-regenerative amnesia, along with some of the other natural quirkiness that the Moffat-era episodes carried, really sometimes gives off the impression that it is trying too hard. However, I absolutely love this cold open before the intro sequence. It says a lot, so many funny lines. And the thing is, too, this dialogue, it's quirky, it's funny, but it's played for seriousness, which I think really says a lot about seasons 8 and 9 in particular, when the tone might just felt off. Bashful, sneezy, dopey, grumpy, the green one, and the not green one. Have you regenerated? He's not Clara, I'm Clara. Why are you all going gray? Take 5, and then he passes out. Here we go again. All this dialogue is great, but yes, what a great cold open. That leads into a great joke about the Doctor's Scottish accent. Amazing. This episode, of course, has the big responsibility of winning audiences over for this Doctor who is...
I'm proud of myself. This isn't just a random use of B-roll like I had in my head. This is legitimate good review. Like, not to pat myself on the back. The Clever Dick Films guy, he used all this B-roll of the deep breath intro on his review. And I like what I'm saying over it. I'm being true to myself of all that I'm saying. I'm like, there's a sense of humor towards it that kind of falls flat. It's played for more seriousness that sets the vibe for series 8 and 9. I'm on point and agreeing with what I'm saying a year later, not 5 months later. Yeah.
Here we go again. All this dialogue is great, but yes, what a great cold open. That leads into a great joke about the Doctor's Scottish accent. Amazing. This episode, of course, has the big responsibility of winning audiences over for this Doctor who is a bit more cold towards Clara, a bit less approachable. Now, Clara being apprehensive about this new Doctor, about her not knowing who this Doctor is anymore, that coupled with the Doctor's internal conflict of wanting to keep this dinosaur safe. Relating to the dinosaur because he knows what it's like to be alone. The stuff between the Doctor and Clara was great to rewatch in the restaurant than in that robot lab. The Doctor then fits right into his character by throwing him into a scenario where all he has is his Sonic and robots, and he leaves Clara for a second where she can kind of disseminate a bit of exposition about the robot. It had some suspense, and it built on the lore of the Clockwork Men. And the Doctor even relates to the Clockwork Men with his old age and trying to go home the long way round. It really worked. And yeah, I have mixed feelings about the decision to have the 11th Doctor call up Clara to be with him. So yes, there have been times over the years where I think Deep Breath kind of sucks for a lot of reasons, but it was so great being able to enjoy it again after all these years. 2014, that was a big year for me in terms of watching movies. I was like a couple years into being a film fanatic. So in 2014, I watched a ton of new movies for the first time, like Godfather, Pulp Fiction, Apocalypse Now, Doctor Strangelove, Rocky. So many amazing films I watched for the first time that year. So Deep Breath at the time, I remember it really felt like a cinematic experience. Speaking of a cinematic experience, next up we have the War Games in color. I'm so glad they took on this colorization. It just makes me want more. Let's get the few critiques out of the way, all right? Of course, season 6 of classic Doctor Who really felt like it had some of this sitcom-y vibe going for it outside of the sci-fi. And there's, of course, more to be unpacked there because season 6 has so much seriousness going for it, and the War Games is a perfect season finale. Yes, just because the War Games feels a little bit padded, I've only watched all 10 parts together once, but you revisit the story a lot throughout the years. But yes, the War Games in the status of Doctor Who, despite how you personally feel about it, of course, just like a story like Genesis of the Daleks, War Games is, of course, amongst the general consensus of fandoms, considered one of the best ever. Even though the original 10 episodes feels a little bit padded, you just can't call this story overrated. And they really tried with this one. That's maybe the one small criticism, that maybe some of the music levels of some of the modern music choices that they used over this colorized remix, maybe some of that feels a little bit out of place. when compared with the dialogue of the 60s. Maybe the modern shot of Gallifrey, that felt kind of out of place at times. But overall, like the shortening to 90 minutes, this was the cinematic treatment that the War Games needed. The very last episode of 1960s Doctor Who, making it look on the par with the same level of iconic films such as Lawrence of Arabia, Sound of Music. I want to compare it visually to those iconic films of the 60s because that's what War Games absolutely deserved. Yes, I will admit, about the first half of the War Games in color still feels a little bit slow after all these rewatches, but around the halfway mark when the story's action really picks up, oh man, I was so intensely hooked onto this. So yes, great pacing, especially by the second half. Let's talk about the War Master for a second. A canon-changing decision, and it kind of works. Of course, in The Mind Robber, the character, the Master in there, seems way more likely to be the previous incarnation before Roger Delgado's Master, but that could still be the same Master character. If they ever choose to colorize and re-edit The Mind Robber, I'm sure they would make that Master the Master as well. But yes, the attention to detail, like when the War Chief Master is dead and then he's thrown into the TARDIS and you could hear the sound of him regenerating. I remember reading the main theories before about how the Roger Delgado Master in the Third Doctor era is probably on his 11th or 12th incarnation. And yes, the departure of Jamie and Zoe, it was handled so well. This being the very first episode that mentions the Time Lords, credit where credit is due. Of course, the episode Time Warrior gets a lot of that amazing credit for the iconic things that it introduced. Sarah Jane, the Sontarans, and name-dropping Gallifrey. But none of that would have happened if it wasn't for how well the War Games handled it. With such genuineness to the Doctor being like, I left Gallifrey because I was bored. We only use time travel to observe and gather knowledge. Just a great dignified way to end what 60s Doctor Who was going for. So yes, the settings were amazing. I love the times during my Doctor Who obsession where I feel like 60s Doctor Who is the best Doctor Who. There are times where 70s Doctor Who has some great innovative stories, 80s Doctor Who has its awesome underrated moments, and then 2000s, 2010s Doctor Who is what I grew up with. But 60s Doctor Who, that was the sci-fi that started it all. And yes, everything that it handled was done amazingly. And the re-edits, to seeing a little bit of a flashback to earlier adventures where the Doctor is pointing out his villains that he's fought, that literally brought a tear to my eye. Not for very long, but it made me a little bit choked up. I've watched the Second Doctor Regeneration as much as any other fan would in the past 15 years, and it's never brought a tear to my eye other than this last time rewatching it. That was absolutely amazing. A flashback to things like Ice Warriors, Power of the Daleks, where he's like, it's over. The type of flashbacks that modern Doctor Who and classic Doctor Who would absolutely do. It was beautifully, beautifully edited. Which episode wins, Deep Breath or the War Games in color? Both have been at least 9 out of 10 experiences from me rewatching them. Despite some of the few criticisms, I had such a blast watching this. I have to give it a 10 out of 10 War Games in color, 10 out of 10 experience. Thank you guys for watching this video. I want to review the Macroterror versus the Faceless Ones in the next TV fights. And this is why the post-regeneration memory loss scenes are so important, and why I hope whoever playing the next Doctor gets some of those moments. I was rewatching Power of the Daleks. I haven't watched all 6 parts since 2017. I'm under the impression that thinks that that is one of the weaker animated stories. However, I really must say, the first 8 minutes of Power...
I'm going to have to reiterate this point because this is a good reason for this video to be 11 minutes long. I didn't realize I made this point in this video. I was assuming I made this point in my Evil of the Daleks review, but I'm going to have to make this point again. I fucking loved the first 8 minutes of Power of the Daleks, the way it introduces the second Doctor with his treasure chest that belongs to the first Doctor, bridging the gap between the 2 Doctors. This Doctor doesn't realize that he's the Doctor, but kind of does. That is what a post-regeneration amnesia needs to be. I love the first 8 minutes of Power of the Daleks. I'm glad I talked about it here.
Power of the Daleks is a true masterclass of characterization. It makes it feel like the first Doctor's transition into the second Doctor is the only thing that matters in Doctor Who. From the first 8 minutes of Power of the Daleks, we are already given so much information about the Second Doctor's new personality.
Yeah.
About how this is a renewal at the time. He looks at himself in the mirror, kind of hallucinates. His ring doesn't fit. He starts to wear a hat, does a little bit of foot tapping. He plays the recorder, opens his treasure chest, finds a sword, finds his 500-year-old diary. All of these amazing things in the first 8 minutes really shows you the magic of Doctor Who. A dialogue about metamorphosis, about how a butterfly...
Man, you don't know how happy I am right now. I'm going to reiterate this point. I'm glad this point went at the end of this video because this is a good review. You don't know how happy I am right now. I went from August to December making a video that was a 3-minute long review. You guys saw just 20 minutes ago or so. The videos were like 3-minute review long reviews in August. And then by December, I'm like, yeah, I know I have the potential to make them longer. I'm so happy with myself for that, you know.
It doesn't fit into its cage after it changes. This was the perfect way to handle a companion Doctor change, and is exactly how it would have been handled with the new series. I can see this happening, the same type of banter happening with the 11th Doctor and Amy and Roy. But yes, the way the Doctor is finding his new personality from Power of the Daleks, amazing, amazing stuff. I've gone so many years as a fan where I've ranked the first Doctor higher than the second Doctor in terms of my favorite Doctors. But I remember a time when I was first a fan back in 2011.
I was just rewatching The Romans because I have said that is one of my favorite first Doctor stories. I was rewatching some. I didn't watch the whole episode. I watched episode 3. Yeah, the one I said earlier here that 60s Doctor Who is the best Doctor Who. Yes, it is. Second Doctor, I do like him better than the first Doctor since this, yeah. But first Doctor was my favorite for most of this time, yeah.
Where the second Doctor was my favorite, just based off of, I think, only watching The Mind Robber and a bit of The Invasion. This is why aspects of the second Doctor are the most borrowed from, inspired by, from all the other Doctors. So yes, let's make some predictions for next year's Christmas special. No Doctor Who for a year. I do hope in the next few months we get a reveal about who the actual 16th Doctor is, who Billie Piper's character is. I do have the belief that the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, would come back in this. I also really hope and think Susan comes back in this. I hope they make references to the tribe of Gum, early humans, and of course they're going to have to reference Dalek Invasion of Earth, where they left off with Susan.
Yep, that was a big fucking disappointment, wasn't it? No Doctor Who news. The only news is that it's been canceled. Probably not going to return. If it does, I don't see how I would care much. Doctor Who has clearly shown for years and years that it does not give a fuck about its long-term fans. It really doesn't. It doesn't give us any news for over a year, and the news that we get is that it's canceled. Yeah, as a big long-term Whovian, fuck you, Doctor Who. You don't care about us. You really don't care about us. You will give us breadcrumbs of information just to keep us on the hook when it was really your first 50 years or so. That was really your best, and you'll never recover from that. So if Doctor Who is officially over, I don't care. However, that being said, since I was a kid, I have sort of daydreamed, imagined myself playing the Doctor at one point, maybe like the 21st Doctor. I don't know what number I'd be. But yeah, I hope Doctor Who can be good again, and that I get the potential to play one of the Doctors. Not when the show gets canceled, not when the show is renewed. Somewhere in the middle, after one Doctor, then my Doctor leads into another Doctor, and then the show can be, if you get canceled around that time. But I want to be in the middle, in the consistency, like Matt Smith, like Capaldi, not being worried about the show ending. Even Capaldi's era had one hiatus, didn't it? So yeah, fuck you, Doctor Who, for now. Screw you. You hate us, don't you?
And they're probably going to compare that to what happened in Journey's End, what happened in Doomsday. And they might bring back other faces. I think they're going to bring back Mel because they've been doing that a lot. I kind of hope they bring back Perry. She was one of my favorites. Kind of hope they bring back Nyssa. And I kind of hope we get to see Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi. They might be too busy or not interested. Thank you guys for watching this review. In the next Doctor Who fights, I will be talking about the Macra Terror. Welcome back to TV Fights. Let's jump right into the season 6 premiere of Modern Family. In this episode, the Dunphys are having the greatest summer ever. Everything is so peaceful and harmonious. And then Ariel Winter comes back from her summer building houses for the poor, and the entire house turns back into insanity. There's this nice visual of a butterfly in the kitchen, and it gets turned into a bat. People seem to think this episode is really mean-spirited, but it's actually a hilarious juxtaposition with the Dunphys being high on life and Mitchell being annoyed as usual because he just can't reciprocate Cam's extravagant romantic gestures months after they got married. Claire tells Mitch that he's being ungrateful, and then it cuts to Claire being kind of mean to Phil, who's dressed up in a heart-shaped costume when it wasn't even Valentine's Day. In terms of favorite characters, Phil is up there, Cam is up there, Jay is up there. They're just such well-rounded personalities with so many different artistic talents and stuff. But low-key, my favorite character is Ariel Winter's Alex Dunphy. She starts off very nerdy, kind of mean, pretty sarcastic, and then she grows very comfortable and confident in herself and her abilities. The way she's so different from the rest of the family, the way they bounce off each other, make each other better, like when Alex is super competitive and beats the rest of the family at Scrabble, so Claire helps Luke cheat so that...
Man, even since February, I do feel a little bit, now that it's June and this was February, March, April, May, June, I do feel a little bit of a change, and yeah, it's not the entire change, like, progress that I've wanted. I've wanted, like, in 2026, like, every month to feel, like, distinctly different. Every month has, like, a new change, a new era. But no, for the progress that I've been getting, what you deserve out of life, I feel like I'm making the evolution I want to. Even I look a little bit healthier now than I do in February, a little bit. And even in February, I was living pretty healthy. Even in December, I was living pretty healthy. Even in August, I was living pretty healthy, but I still look kind of shitty. Yeah, just keep doing what you need to do to be on track with things, you know. So far, this review is okay. Do I want to take a little break? I don't know, because this is kind of a completely different vibe than the first one that I watched. But this video did take effort, and I am very happy with it overall. Let's go.
He could beat her for once, so that she's not being a sore winner. I also noticed Ariel Winter ends up having more boyfriends on the show than she ends up ever having any actual friends on the show, which is very interesting. Luke definitely got way more douchey in later seasons. People say the same about Manny. But with Manny, I admire his confidence and his pretentious style, like when he's dressed up as some obscure character from a play to represent the heartbreak that he's feeling. That is totally what someone like that would do. I really love the episodes where the characters are doing something artistic and creative, like Phil's magic, Cam's Fizbo, Jay's dog beds, closets, Manny's screenplays. The yard sale episode where Gloria was a ventriloquist, that almost makes my top 10. Because these episodes offer great moments of dialogue for the characters to build each other up, play to each other's strengths, and get their work done. That's why I love that Manny had a talent show for the family in the Year of Birthdays episode. The reason I chose this episode was because of all the great episodes around it. For example, the wedding episode I think is one of the best season finales of any show up to this day. If Mitch and Cam weren't in love, they would just be toxic bullies to each other. Like when they're going out to the dinner and they're wearing the same suit, and so Mitch shakes up a can of soda so that it bursts all over Cam so that he can't wear the suit so that Mitch can. But Mitch even sticks up for Cam when his dad is a little uncomfortable with the gay wedding, and he's like, then don't come to the wedding. Just made it that much more heartfelt. And I was close to reviewing other episodes of the season, like the grill episode and the one where Alex is going off to college and Claire is trying to give her a nice gift. These are the type of family gatherings that you love to see. I love the moment where Gloria is giving a toast to Alex because she was the first one who reached out to her. Everyone sees you as the smart one, but to me, you're the kind one. That was a really nice moment. My favorite line in the wedding episode is when Alex notices that Haley might be stringing Andy along just for the fun of it. So she tells her, it takes guys like him way longer to get over girls like you than it takes girls like you to get over guys like him. That line is so true. I'm so glad they included that line. I thought Andy was really great for Haley. It's better than her ending up with Dylan. I don't hate Dylan, but having her end up as a housewife just retroactively ruins all the character building with her fashion blog, different careers. It's like what Claire was telling her in the season 2 episode. She's going to resent the man for taking away the best years of her life. This episode is actually a compliment to Alex Dunphy because the entire family realizes that they need her around to tell them what they're doing wrong. with Haley live streaming at improper moments and Claire barely reading, watching a lot of trash TV. It's also amazing seeing Adam Devine play a character who is the complete opposite to his character on Workaholics. That shows great acting range. I love when Haley gets the idea to play a trick on the parents by editing a message on their answering machine, and Alex compliments her saying, "Your mind is so brilliant. If you had put this much effort into your schoolwork, there's no telling, why do you have to ruin everything? I know, she's always talking about my potential." Just great moments like that. And I love how in the season 7 Christmas episode, Alex is trying to be all cheerful and loving towards the family, and everyone thinks that she's just being sarcastic because she usually is. Her dad's like, "It's ugly, honey." And of course, it would not be a great Modern Family episode if it did not have at least one word pun, double entendre miscommunication. When Mitch and Cam make up at the end, Lily comes by and says, "Are we almost done with fairy time?" And they both act offended, thinking that it's some kind of gay slur, but really she just wants to change out of her fairy-style dress. Alright, now let's talk about the 3rd episode of the iCarly revival, I Apologize. Spencer tries to be thought-provoking by asking the question, "What is a feeling?" While the rest of the gang is laughing at squirrel memes on their phone, he unveils his scroll sculpture, and Carly spits out a disgusting old takeout meatball. Her friend Harper takes a picture of this, and it looks like Carly is reacting negatively to Spencer's sculpture, and this sparks a ton of memes. Carly's getting very popular off these meatball memes. Meanwhile, Spencer is very upset and hurt that people aren't taking his art seriously. Carly fake apologizes because she doesn't really see a problem with this. Harper advocates and says this is good publicity and makes t-shirts out of the meme. This prompts Spencer to open an exhibit with deliberately bad art called the Museum of Influence. Carly starts live streaming. We get giant lattes that read, "Is this art?" We get a reference to Marilyn Diptych by Andy Warhol pop art. We get a giant
I like this. It might have some flaws, like with the focus, literal focus camera. Maybe some, I don't know, whatever personal sort of awkwardnesses that I feel by watching myself. But overall, I'm proud. This is the type of sort of personal, sort of little bit intimate, sort of just true to myself, genuine reaction and review of what I like out of these shows, what worked and what didn't work. I'm happy. I don't care if things like my hair look a little off, the focus is a little off at times. I don't care. I should never feel bad about a video like this, especially like all the random bullshit that tries to sucker me into caring about that bullshit in the 4 months since then. This was like me making my own peacefulness in a pretty peaceful time, but all the random BS that has happened since then, like none of that shit matters to me. It's this shit that matters to me. It's not shit. It's good. Good job, Pratik. I'm proud of myself. I actually am. This is where it reinforces. I don't really make content for an audience in mind. Even ironically, I just said in that video, didn't I, last year? You have to feed the audience. But no, at this point, I'm like, I make it more for what I want to see. I realize that. I make it more about what I want to see, but there is audience consideration, of course, in mind.
Like button. Carly notices that the other people in the gallery are feeling personally attacked by the art. Then she realizes that she's being personally attacked as well. Spencer getting revenge on Carly is an absolutely amazing plot for them to bring back the show to try to do. Spencer deliberately trying to prove a point because he's sick of how people are obsessed with fake art and how people are obsessed with fake likes. One thing that I remembered is how in the last few seasons of iCarly, Spencer barely makes any sculptures. I remember noticing that back in the day. Then everyone is turning on Spencer, which feels like a similar...
Because I was just rewatching a little bit of, what's it called? I Like Jake. He makes like 2 sculptures in that. No, he makes 1 sculpture. The self-portrait of himself kind of shaped oddly with the splatter paint. And then he had to mold his head in big clay and almost sucked a fish into his breathing tube and coffee into the breathing tube. Funny stuff. Sad that in retrospect, when you rewatch some of iCarly and you realize Jeanette McCurdy wasn't having fun, probably. If she said that she wouldn't come back to her, she didn't really like the experience, then yeah, you can see probably in some of the things that they wrote for her, she probably wasn't having fun. And that makes it really sad for me a little bit. Do you guys realize that? Have you guys noticed that too when you rewatch iCarly in recent years? You're like, yeah, Jeanette McCurdy probably wasn't having fun, and that's sad. It is. Yeah.
Lesson that Freddie's one-off girlfriend who tried to get with him just to get him and Sam to help her with her web show so she could take over iCarly, and then her web show ends up being a flop anyway. Carly tells Spencer that everything online is just a joke, realizing that she loves getting likes and that her content does have merit. And Carly apologizes to Spencer for ignoring his feelings. The self-aware media internet tone really feels like a product of the time. I noticed that the characters in the original iCarly when they were growing up had this sense of independence that almost makes up for how tween shows at the time, all of them pretty much felt like 40-year-olds pretty much writing what they thought kids and teens sounded like. Carly's focus in the revival is all about content, all about perfecting and pursuing her style of comedy with ideas such as Captain American Cheese. Is Spencer a good artist? I like his sculptures like the Splatter Man, the Video Squirrel, Toasty the butter sculpture, and the clay fish. Very DIY, very expressionist. Josh Peck plays Carly's other manager, who seems to have pretty smart ideas when it comes to expanding her content. This makes Freddie insecure, and it really plays to Josh Peck's fun, charming energy, and it's very symbolic because he played her older brother on Drake and Josh. Rewatching episodes of the revival since they came out, hearing Carly say lines such as, "I'm so happy I'm making content again," that really hit home for me, considering my relationship with making content over the past 5 years. I actually like Freddie way more in the revival than I did in the original. Similar to Ariel Winter's Alex Dunphy, it feels like he really grew into his personality. Seems like he really knows what he's doing with his professional work, even though he gets hypnotized by fake magic sand. And I'm really happy he ended up with Carly in season 3. I really like the plotline where Carly and Freddie go back to their high school reunion. Carly was abroad most of the senior year, so she's like, I've missed such important moments, like Anna Kendrick's cups. That is such a hilarious and true reference. And with the iCarly web show being as hyped as it was in the iCarly universe as well as in real life, it's similar to how shows like Hannah Montana and Big Time Rush, they basically program their audiences. I really like the acoustic version of the theme song that they use for the outro. The Modern Family intro is iconic as well. But of course, the Drake and Josh intro is the best. Did you guys ever notice how they edited so many different versions of the intro to the last few seasons of iCarly? It felt like there was a new version of the intro like every few episodes. I'm sure whoever edited those intros is cringing at the perfectionistic mistakes of using clips from older seasons. Doesn't it feel like artists like Hannah Montana and Big Time Rush only got popular because of the hype that the show directed around these plot lines? But Big Time Rush and Hannah Montana genuinely had some good songs. That being said, some of the lines and some of the acting in the revival can be really cringy. Like in the season 3 finale when Carly gets overwhelmed because she thinks Freddie's gonna propose, and Carly's like, I'm not actually frustrated at Freddie. I'm frustrated because of Mom. Like, that line felt out of nowhere. That made me laugh out loud. That being said, the cliffhanger leaving us in suspense does make me want us to get an iCarly movie soon. So, which episode wins? Even though I love the A plot of this iCarly episode, the B plot almost completely ruins it, with Freddie's stepdaughter Millicent pretending to be offended by something he tweeted 8 years ago. I hated that. Modern Family definitely wins. It would have been a great show even if it was just a traditional 3-camera sitcom approach, but the mockumentary style really gives opportunities for side interviews with hilarious dialogue and insights into the characters' motivation. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. See you next time.
All right, guys, that was nice. Unexpectedly nice. Yeah, maybe in like a few months I'll rewatch this bad boy and the other TV fights. But for now, you know, watching that, it actually is a little bit sort of with the intention of pushing me in the right direction to make more. I'm not going to say yes, watching this completely clears the sort of channel Bible to be able to allow myself to continue to keep making this. To some extent, that's very true. I can always tap into that without needing to rewatch it. But that was pretty nice, and seeing how I can just improve. Can't wait to see what these videos look like several months down the line, because that was nice and informative, you know. That was nice and informative. That was a good video by me. Good job, Pratik. All right, guys. Well, this was a relatively productive live stream sprint where I realized certain of the right directions to move forward in, and hopefully that shows through in my work. Yeah, keep striving to make the best content. Keep supporting your favorite shows and movies. Keep believing in your values. Keep doing healthy things. Yeah, man. I've been doing like several sets of curl ups, push ups every day. I hope to continue that consistency for at least like 3-4 months or more. Yeah, man. All right. I think for the rest of the day, I'm gonna rewatch some season 5 of Better Call Saul, the one where Jimmy goes to the desert and stuff like that. Yeah, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. I will too. Bye bye.